Hey Lab Techs, welcome to the Fiction Lab. My name is Katrina Schrader. I am the host and founder of the Fiction Lab. I am an editor, book coach, author, just all the things. So today I have episode 3 out. This is a little late and I do apologize for that. Last week I was at Worldcon in Seattle and it was amazing. We got a ton of new members, so if you are new in the Discord, welcome. We're so glad you're here. If you are not in the Discord, then you should check out the links in the show notes and join our Discord. It's completely free. We do tons of writing related things. It's a fun time. So yeah, episode's out a little late, just a day late, not too bad. I ended up having some flights cancel and then rescheduled, and I got home a day late, and then I was trying to remember what year it was and what my name is and all of this stuff. So finally catching up with everything today. So you're getting your episode, but it's a little behind. So my guest for this episode is Helen Thornton-Gussey. She's actually in our Discord, so you can find her in there. She is an editor and from New Zealand, so you can listen to that beautiful Kiwi accent. And she and I chatted about show don't tell. Yeah, the thing that like you hear all the time, are probably tired of hearing about, but with it being early seasons of the Fiction Lab, what better to start with than an episode about show don't tell? Yeah. So we kind of go over the basics, what you need to know. I do want to do another episode later where we really get into when to tell and when to show, because you do want to do both. We don't really get into that in this episode, but we dive into the show don't tell, which is, it's important. It's helpful. It's what just paints a beautiful word picture for your readers. So without further ado, here's Helen. Helen, thanks for joining us here at the Fiction Lab. So excited you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm pretty excited to be here as well.
Yay. So you're actually like a member of the Fiction Lab, or at least like our little Discord
I'm
group.
an honorary member.
Yeah, you're an honorary
Yeah,
member. We like having you in there.
yeah.
Yep.
You let me come poking around and chat to people. It's very cool.
Yeah. It's fun in there. It's fun in there.
It is. More people should join.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Um, well, so before we dive in, I know today we're going to talk a little bit about show don't tell, and some rules and not rules around that. But before we dive into that, will you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So I am an editor for my company called EditCo. I am never going to get that right. So I'm an editor for EditCo here in New Zealand, but I am based all over the world. I work predominantly for American authors. I have some authors in Australia and I have some authors in New Zealand. And yeah, and it's a fantastic job to have. I've been doing it for the past 8.5 years now, full time in my own business for nearly 2 years. And yeah, it's just been the best thing I've ever done. I don't know how to explain, but you know, when you find a job that you love, but you don't have to work in it, this is it. You know,
Yeah.
I had one of those moments where I needed to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and doing this was it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Like when I started the Fiction Lab, what's funny is I find myself doing all the work for Fiction Lab first before I do any of my editing projects or anything like that, because it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah,
It's just I get to do this fun thing, but oh yeah, it's also my job. That's pretty cool. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a great
And I'm
feeling.
editing at the moment a manuscript, and oh, I did her a developmental edit initially, and
Mhm.
then I'm doing the line edit now, and she's just done an amazing job on it. But it's so much fun to read, and that's like part of the job, is that you get to read these really cool manuscripts.
Yes, you get to like read cool manuscripts and get paid for it, but then you
Yeah,
also can expense all of your books for
that's
research
right.
purposes, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I actually didn't think to do that last year, and I came
oh,
back with a suitcase full of bookcases of books. So
books. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely expense those because it's the more that you read, the more you learn about writing and the more you learn about editing and like all this stuff. So always expense your
Yeah,
books. Yeah.
yeah, that's a great idea. I shall add that to the list for next year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's actually dive into some show not tell stuff.
Hmm.
So this is something that a ton of people always tell writers. Writers hear this all the time, show don't tell, show don't tell. But
Yeah.
what is first off, before we get into like the hard and fast rules, what does that actually mean?
So for me, I like to tell the authors, it's it's not a visceral thing, but you've got to make the reader feel what that what you're trying to get across. You don't want to just tell them, oh, it was cold.
Yeah.
You want to say, oh, look, she had goosebumps up on her arms, and she shivered, or whatever. You don't need to say she's cold, because if you give the visual or the feeling,
Hmm.
then you're imparting that meaning and the depth to the story. So yeah, so that's for me. That's how show versus tell works out.
And and that's something too that like so I'll kind of use a very similar example when I'm trying to teach show don't tell. And something I think too, there's kind of another phrase that a lot of authors hear is write what you know. And I kind of try and pair those two together because, go for a walk in the woods or you're walking down the street, you know what it feels like to have the rain splash across your face or the wind
Hmm.
like rustle your hair. Like what are the
Yeah,
things that you can pull from just even just simple daily activities, write what you know to plug into show don't tell. Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it's like, when you find the characters in unusual positions, and you're like, can he actually do that?
yeah,
Is he actually that flexible? Which is actually a comment I put in the manuscript yesterday. So,
that's
it's
hilarious.
you've got to think about, put yourself in the position, because, if you don't, you think you've got a great line, but you've just got the reader just scratching their heads going, what?
Yeah, and if a reader is having to spend time thinking about the logistics of something, then they're not enjoying the story and they're being pulled out of it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
And that is not what you want.
No, you
So
don't.
what are some common pitfalls writers run into when they're trying to do show don't tell? What are some things that you've noticed as an editor that people keep doing rather than showing?
Yeah. So, like a really big one is like an information dump, and they're trying to get
Yeah.
all the information out, try to set the scene, but it's literally they're just listing everything that's going on, instead of having because I do fantasy, so epic. I really enjoy doing epic fantasy, and so telling me there's a castle, there's a knight, there's a princess fairy, or whatever, whatever there is, have it so either the narrator's telling you the point of views, whoever's point of view it is telling you, oh, the castle walls rose 100 feet in the air, and I could see the whatever, and what you can see.
Yeah.
So don't list it, but make it part of the story.
Yeah.
Make it part of
Yeah.
the experience that the character's going through.
That's something I do. I've edited a ton of sci-fi or fantasy, and I think that was something that I come across a lot too, is just info dumping in the beginning, but not integrating it in a way. Like if you're showing somebody has a particular ability, or I don't know, maybe you're writing some sort of magic system, instead of giving
Hmm.
us the logistics of how that magic system works, use that time to show us somebody doing a particular thing and the
Yeah,
consequences or benefits from that, and
yeah.
showing us it happening in real time in the story, and your reader is first off going to be so much more immersed, but then also a lot more engaged and interested. If you have giant
Hmm.
info dumps, people lose interest and stop reading, and
Yes, they do.
that's yeah,
That's not ideal.
no, not at
No,
all.
you want your readers to be involved and invested in the story. So
Yeah,
it's very important that you do that. I mean, what are other things that I can think of?
yeah, some other pitfalls.
Other
Um,
pitfalls would be, oh,
I think one I've noticed is first off, I think there's an opportunity when you're writing a dialogue beat or like a dialogue tag to add in some sort
Hmm.
of body beat. So instead of having back and forth dialogue of somebody saying like Katrina said this and then Helen said that, there can
Yeah.
be these moments of like having, Katrina sipped her tea and then I say something, or Katrina
Hmm. Yes.
scratched
Yeah.
her
Have an action
ear,
first. Yeah.
like show something that kind of indicates like if Katrina's frustrated while she's talking to somebody, use body beats instead of dialogue tags.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm saying like, if she's tired or she's sad or, like think about what will happen when you're sad, like your shoulders slump,
Hmm.
tears might well up. So describe that. Don't tell me that she's sad.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Arrogance is another one. That's a really, really good one to, because people be like, he was arrogant and he thought he was better than everyone else. Okay, well, show me that.
Yeah.
So he glanced around the room and he's smirking. Looks like I'll have to carry this team again. Just
Yes.
make him despicable. But don't tell me about it. Describe it to me. Make me want to hate him, or make me want to just smack him around the head and say, "Get out of here."
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear my puppy huffing.
No, I
Paul's
cannot hear
decided he,
anything.
okay, awesome. Great. Paul's decided to join the podcast. Um, so that actually made me think about too, particularly with like showing dialogue tags or showing that somebody's personality is such and such. I
Hmm.
notice a lot of people in my own editing, a lot of people leaning heavily on adverbs
Yeah.
or like ly adverbs. And this is something that I
Yes.
actually taught recently in the lab, not too long ago in one of our group coaching sessions where we dove into and even did some exercises around, okay, we've got this ly adverb attached to a dialogue tag, for instance, or she said smugly. Well, take out the word smugly and what can you
Hmm.
replace that with? What are some like body beats or even action she can do or a different way
Yeah.
to phrase it to give us a little more of that show rather than telling us she did it smugly. I think adverbs are an easy one to look for,
Yeah.
to go in and
Yeah. No,
fix.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's one of my big things as well. And an adverb here and there is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We're not saying get rid of them altogether, but
Yeah.
there are better ways to say, you just said as an example, she said smugly, you could say, um, she said her eyebrows raised up,
Mhm.
I had the word in my head. I had the sentence just before and it's gone, but you know what I mean. It's just like you're
Yeah.
adding an action beat or a facial or a body movement or whatever to describe and show her
Mhm.
being smug.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think adverbs are just an easy one to go in and just do control find for your LYs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Control find's great. I love control
Yes.
find.
Oh, I use that one just way too much sometimes. Another quick trick, and I know that this is a little bit of a show don't tell tangent. We're kind of hopping
Yeah.
off of that, but a little trick I like to use is for specifically with control find that you can pair with control find. I can words. Um, is if you can't like just keep writing, but if you're coming onto a spot where you're stumbling over what might she say here or how can I describe this, instead of pausing and trying to do research or think about what it is, I'll always use kind of a brackets symbol and then all caps TK text, come back to this. She needs to say this smugly. Show don't tell here. Close
Hmm.
brackets and then keep writing. So then later I can do a control F entirely for everything that has the capital
TK.
letters TK because those don't show up often together. And so
That's
then
a very cool idea.
it's very handy when you're writing and just need to keep going without losing your
Yeah.
momentum.
Yeah. No,
But
I love
yeah,
that idea.
yeah, little trick.
It
Um,
is. We're all about little tricks.
Yeah. So, okay, I could talk about Show Don't Tell all day. There's actually a lot more we could talk about with Show Don't Tell.
There
Um,
is, yeah.
like so much more we could
Yeah.
talk about with Show Don't Tell, but I think we'll stop it for here and
Shucks, I
do
could have,
another.
I could have kept
I
going.
know, I
Oh, I'm
know.
so
That's okay.
disappointed.
We'll have to bring you
Well,
on
I
for
don't want to
another
bore
episode.
everyone.
Yeah. No, we could have a whole other episode just straight up on more show don't tell stuff. I actually at some point want to talk about when you do want to tell versus show,
Hmm.
because that's something we
Yes.
can absolutely dive into.
Yeah.
Um, but in the meantime, where can people find you, Helen?
Right. So obviously on the web somewhere, my website is www.editco, so editco.nz, so NZ for New Zealand. I am on TikTok, which I cannot believe. I had
Yeah,
a very lovely marketing guru, Ashley, suggest I do that. So I took her advice. She's very good at her job.
Ashley's the best.
And you can find me there at editco.23. And I'm on Insta and Threads, and you can find me there at edit underscore co dot underscore because
Perfect.
EditCo was already taken, so I still wanted to keep my words, so I had to
Oh,
throw in the
yes.
underscores, and I love a good underscore. You'll see that everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
label all
yeah,
my files with underscores.
yeah, and you can find me on Discord at the Fiction Lab as well, because I
Yeah.
really enjoy hanging out there as well. Got a
Yeah.
great
There's a lot of
great
fun
group of
stuff.
people to talk to. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for the hype, the Fiction Lab hype. And
you're
then
welcome.
before we leave, I'm gonna ask a fun question. I know we talked about edit stuff, but I want to do a
Oh,
fun
do you have
question.
to?
Yes. Yes, I have to.
Okay, all
This
right.
one's easy though. What are you reading right now? Just for fun, not like work reading, but for fun reading.
For fun reading. So I met this lovely author who is a very good friend of mine now at Kill Asheville last year, and her book is called Fires at Christmas. And I know her real name, but her editor name, sorry, her author name is Erk Kaye, and it's just a romance. I don't normally read romances, but it's just an easy read, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's a little bit of fun stuff in it. So yeah, really enjoying it.
Fires at Christmas. I really like that
Fires
title.
at Christmas. Yeah.
That's very
Elizabeth is a brilliant author.
okay. I'm gonna add that to my TBR.
Excellent. I'll send you the
Amazing.
link.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Helen, for joining us. This was really great, and I can't wait for you to join us again.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Bye. Helen's the best. I'm so glad she came and joined us. I've got a few other episodes with her in the works, so you will be hearing more from Helen. And she's actually going to be here in Oklahoma with me for WriterCon next weekend. I should know this. I'm speaking next weekend. So maybe we'll get some pictures together and share them with everyone. She is also in the Discord, so if you do want to connect directly with her, you can find her in there. And then I've left all of her connection information down in the show notes. Anyway, that was fun. Thanks, everyone. Can't wait to see you next week for episode 4. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You're just going to have to wait. Bye.